A West Terre Haute police officer out of a job this morning after the town council voted to end his employment. Officer Jonathan Stevens Sr. is that officer. Taylor Williams attended the public meeting and has details. Taylor?
In my hands are two forms. One is the Indiana State Code, which basically says that the council has the ability to fire a city officer if that officer is convicted of a crime. Also in my hands is a lawsuit filed by Officer Stevens, who is accusing city officials of being racist.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
By a 2-to-1 vote, the West Terre Haute City Council found Stevens guilty of conduct unbecoming of an officer and voted to terminate his employment.
Indiana Code specifically provides that an officer of a town, a law enforcement officer, can be disciplined, including dismissal, for the conviction of a crime.
Officer Stevens does not agree with council's decision, and he says the council and the police department are racist.
I'm here to set a precedence that racism and bullying these people for jobs is not going to stand for us. This is not the 1950s anymore. So I'm not going to turn around and run. I have family members that are of different races that may want a job here too. And if I just turn around and run, I make no stance for it, and I will make a stance for it.
Back in October of 2017, Stevens was arrested in a domestic dispute in his home while off duty. Recently, Stevens pleaded guilty to an amended charge of disorderly conduct, a Class B misdemeanor. His original charge of domestic battery in the presence of a child was a felony. That charge was dismissed with the plea agreement, and Stevens was sentenced to 6 days in jail and 174 days on informal probation. Since the news broke, citizens voiced their concerns and outrage over the possibility of Stevens' return. One Facebook comment read, "He shouldn't get his job back." Others defending the officer saying, "I know him personally, and he's never beat his wife. Don't believe everything you hear."
They're supposed to be doing good things for our town.
They're supposed to
Letting him go is the wrong thing.
No, you're right.
At Monday night's meeting, emotions boiled, as residents were upset that they could not speak out about Stevens and the council. West Terre Haute Police Chief Bill Bark declined to go on camera, but he says that the department takes character and background checks on their officers. Officer Stevens has until next Monday to request a hearing to appeal the council's decision. Proof would have to be shown that he was convicted of a crime. I asked Stevens if he should be held accountable for the crime, but he declined to comment. Dana, back to you.
All right, thanks, Taylor. This is the second officer fired from the West Terre Haute Department in the past 3 years. That other officer appealed. It took about a year or so for that appeal to go through, but ultimately he was terminated.